In August 2023, when Donald Trump was arrested on felony charges connected to the 2020 presidential election, his mugshot, which became an iconic image, gained widespread attention. A few months after his surrender, reports began circulating that Trump, in a somewhat unconventional move, had framed his mugshot and hung it in the Oval Office, a decision that became symbolic of his defiant stance against the legal battles he faced. Trump's decision to hang the mugshot in the Oval Office was both a provocative and strategic act. It seemed to reflect his view of the legal troubles as a badge of honor rather than a mark of shame. Throughout his career, Trump had often embraced controversy and portrayed himself as a fighter, positioning himself as a victim of political persecution. By displaying his mugshot in a prominent location, he turned the moment into a symbol of resistance and defiance against what he and many of his supporters saw as a politically motivated attempt to discredit him. The mugshot, which showed Trump with a stern expression, quickly became a focal point for both supporters and critics. It was widely shared across social media and quickly turned into a symbol of his polarizing figure in American politics. For Trump's base, it reinforced the narrative that he was a champion standing up against a corrupt system. On the other hand, detractors viewed it as evidence of his criminal behavior and a stark reminder of the charges he faced. Trump's framing of the mugshot wasn't just about symbolism, it was also about leveraging the media frenzy surrounding his legal challenges. In the months leading up to the mugshot's release, Trump had consistently used the media to his advantage, turning negative coverage into opportunities for political fundraising and rallying his supporters. By prominently displaying the mugshot in the Oval Office, he made a statement about the way he was handling the situation, publicly defiant, with little regard for the traditional norms expected of a sitting president. The move also sparked a conversation about the image of the presidency itself. The Oval Office is one of the most symbolic spaces in the world, representing the authority of the U.S. presidency and serving as a setting for the nation's most important decisions. The decision to hang a mugshot, particularly one associated with a criminal investigation, marked a sharp departure from the typical decorum and symbolism that has characterized the office for generations. It raised questions about the boundaries between personal branding and presidential duty, and what it means for a leader to take such a personal stance within the most public office in the country. For some, the act was a reflection of Trump's populist style, where image and messaging were crucial to his political success. It echoed his past rhetoric, where he often framed himself as a man of the people, standing up against the establishment. For Trump supporters, this was further evidence of his authenticity and his willingness to challenge the political elites and the media. But for his critics, the mugshot hanging in the Oval Office was a stark reminder of the serious criminal allegations against him. It was a controversial act, especially given the nature of the charges and the ongoing investigations. For many, it was a symbol of the deep divisions within the country, where political loyalty and partisanship often overshadow concerns about the rule of law and the integrity of democratic institutions. In the broader context of Trump's presidency, the hanging of the mugshot served as a reminder of his unorthodox approach to leadership and his constant push against political norms. From his time in office to his post-presidential years, Trump's approach to governance has been marked by a disregard for established traditions, and his legal troubles were no different. His choice to display the mugshot in the Oval Office was a continuation of his tendency to turn controversy into an opportunity, drawing attention to himself and using the moment to further entrench his position in the political landscape. The act also had implications for the Republican Party and the 2024 presidential race. Trump's legal issues had already cast a shadow over his campaign, but by embracing the mugshot as a symbol of strength, he reinforced his narrative that he was the only one who could stand up to the political establishment. His move to display it in the Oval Office was a way of signaling to his supporters that he remained steadfast in the face of adversity and would continue to fight for their interests, regardless of the legal battles he faced. For some, this was a bold and effective move that solidified his status as a leader who was unafraid of the consequences of his actions. For others, it was a reminder of the chaos and controversy that had defined his time in office and continued to surround his post-presidential years. Regardless of the interpretation, it was clear that Trump's decision to hang his mugshot in the Oval Office was not just about the image itself, but about the larger narrative he was trying to craft about his presidency and his continued fight against what he perceived as a corrupt political system. The decision to display the mugshot also sparked debates about the broader implications of a president facing criminal charges. Trump was the first president in U.S. history to face felony charges while in office, and his legal challenges raised questions about the intersection of law and politics. His supporters viewed his legal troubles as part of a larger battle for political power, while his critics saw them as a reflection of his inability to adhere to the basic standards of ethical leadership. The mugshot hanging in the Oval Office served as a visual representation of this divide, embodying the tension between Trump's personal narrative and the broader political and legal challenges he faced. As the legal proceedings surrounding Trump continued, the mugshot remained a point of controversy and a reminder of the dramatic shifts in American politics. It symbolized a moment of history when a former president, already a highly polarizing figure, found himself at the center of a legal storm, with his supporters rallying behind him and his opponents seeking accountability. The act of hanging the mugshot in the Oval Office was a bold gesture that reflected the ongoing battle between these competing forces and underscored the unprecedented nature of Trump's political and legal journey. In the end, the framed mugshot in the Oval Office was more than just a personal memento. It became a cultural touchstone, representing the contradictions and complexities of Trump's public life. It encapsulated the tension between his unapologetic self-presentation and the serious legal challenges he faced, highlighting the deep divisions that continue to shape American politics. Whether viewed as a symbol of resilience or a reminder of a leader's legal troubles, the image of Trump's mugshot in the Oval Office will remain an indelible part of the narrative of his presidency and post-presidential life.